Hi, my name is Sam Johnson and I'm a voice teacher. Today I'm going to be reacting to and analyzing Bruno Mars' best live vocals. This video is sponsored by the Nux B3 wireless mic system. Wireless mic systems used to be quite bulky and expensive, but with this system you can replace your annoying wires with one small device that you can put at the end of any dynamic XLR microphone, and another device that you put on your interface or your mixer. I love how simple these are to use. There are two buttons on each device on both the receiver and the transmitter, and one of them turns it on and off, and the other one chooses what channel it's using. The Nux B3 uses 32-bit resolution and a sample rate of 48 kilohertz. It's a very clean sound with no tone coloring. Similar units from other manufacturers give a little bit of a hiss when you plug it into a powered speaker, but with the Nux it's completely clear. The Nux comes with a USB charging cable, an XLR to 3.5mm adapter that lets you use it with cameras and most smartphones, and a hot shoe that lets you attach it to your camera. It's a super versatile and easy to use system, and you can pick one up by checking out the link in my description. Thank you again to Nux for your support. I think he is this amazing performer, and he has a brilliant voice, but I do think that he is working a lot harder than he needs to. And you kind of hear it in the quality of his sound, where it's got this kind of roughness to it. I think that mostly he just has a really high voice, and so he can get away with singing a lot of these things kind of imperfectly. But if he was able to strip away some of the extra work that he was doing, I think that he would be left with a more consistent product.
The way you walk, the way you walk, girl, you're amazing, just the way you are. The way you walk, the way you are.
Nice harmonies.
Girl, you're amazing, just the way you are.
It just looks like he's trying really hard. That doesn't take away from how good he sounds, because I really do think that he sounds really good, and for someone who's trying as hard as he is, like, it probably shouldn't sound as good as it does. But even though he might not be using the best technique all the way through, he is so passionate about the music, and he is a passionate and gifted performer. He is just really, really good.
She was covered in leather and gold, 21 years old. I lost her in the cold. It's unfair, she's out there.
He uses a lot of these wide vowels, which helps encourage pulling chest voice up a little bit more. I think that the first thing that I would do is see if he can make any of these sounds without needing to go this wide. And if it feels better, one, because I think that should be the number one thing we're always after is this a sustainable sound? Does this feel good? Can I do this for the next 30 years? I don't think that that's a sound that you can day in and day out without starting to get exhausted. So that's the first thing that I would check out, is make sure that he can get into this narrower place. And then after he's in that place, see if we can mimic the sound that he's getting, which has a little bit of extra roughness without the pull, without the extra aggravation to the vocal cords.
If my body was on fire, oh, you'd watch me burn down in flames. You said you love me, you're a liar, 'cause you never, ever, ever did, baby.
That time he looked a little bit more relaxed than he has in some of the other clips, but the same vowels are happening. So it just seems like some days he lets it mix in a little bit more, but a lot of the time his general instinct is to just pull a little bit of chest. Because he can! I just think his vocal cords are a little bit smaller, so it lets him go up to these places that probably wouldn't work for everyone. And it lets him get away with some of these harsher vowels and these wide vowels around parts of the voice that usually don't respond very well to it. The tessitura that he sang that whole last clip was so high, it was up to like the B flat, and it was all here, and I don't think it's sustainable for normal people, but I don't think he's a normal person either. I think that he is a special person who can do a lot of really special things.
Got your body trembling.
that's where he goes up to an A5 instead of the A4. He kind of needs to start opening his mouth as wide as he can up there, because that's where that woo kind of place stops working as well. And to get the same sound that he wants, he needs to open it up. So I don't have any problem with that. I just don't think he needs it for the rest of his voice. That was up to the D, and it's just on the edge of pushing. He's just going to the edges of what he can with his sound. He's trying to be abrasive because of the tone color that it gives everything. I just don't think that it's gonna feel good for most people. So if you're trying to imitate him by doing exactly what he's doing, maybe don't, because that might be why it's not working. With this sound, he lets his vocal cords thin out a little bit more, so it's not pushing quite as much, which leads me to think that yes, he is like in control of this. He knows what feels good and what doesn't, and he's choosing to manipulate that so that he can get the sounds that he wants. He's also letting a little bit more air come through while he's using this wider vowel and this thinner vocal cord. It just makes it sound very unique. It sounds like Bruno Mars, which is an important thing. Can I just stay here, spend the rest of my days here, 'cause you make me feel like But then he backs off of it. He just proved that he can find this more balanced sound that doesn't have a ton of extra air going through, that doesn't have a ton of extra muscle involvement, and he's just adding those things in to get his style. So he has figured out that he can do this. He has figured out how to make these sounds in a way that I guess is working for him. I don't know, it's just like weird. It's a weird voice. Most people cannot get away with doing what he's doing. Then it's back to the grab. Yeah, I'll be the first to say that I was wrong. When he goes to wrong, it kind of narrows internally. It's more of a is what I'm hearing, even though he's going rah, rah, rah. There's this internal narrowing that is helping it actually stay together. And that's why it's not grabbing at that point. I would just love to see more of that all the way through his voice. And I think of all the things like what you're doing, and in my head I paint a picture. Oh, since I've come home, well, my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Oh, why don't you come on over? So I just think that he has an exceptionally high voice, and because of that, he gets to make some of these choices that people with less exceptionally high voices can't get away with. Like me, I cannot get away with making those sounds and being that harsh all the way through. I have to be a lot more careful than he does. But that's just because we have different instruments. It still does worry me, even though he is able to get these sounds pretty consistently, and it seems like he knows what his voice is capable of at any given time. It worries me because it sounds like he's still pulling chest, even though it's just much higher than where a normal person would do that. So it's like everything that I'm hearing in his voice around B to C, I would hear in most people around D to E. It's a pretty significant difference. But he sounds thin enough, and I think that's just because his vocal cords probably don't have as much thickness to them as some singers do, that he's able to make it work. So I hope that it's sustainable, because it is a really cool sound, and it's Bruno Mars. It's exactly what he wants to sound like. And there is a ton of value to just having a sound that everyone kind of recognizes as you. I think that he's an exceptional musician, and I really just hope that his voice holds out for a whole career, because if most people sang the way that he's doing, they would not be able to. But it gives me hope that he uses some sounds that are very healthy. So I think that he's just using this stuff as an effect, and that he knows what is comfortable enough that he can come back to what's comfortable after using those effects. So I hope that he's just warming up really well and cooling down after, and doing everything that he can to take care of his instrument outside of actually how he's using it. Because when you're using extreme sounds like this, and it's not just a filter on top, it actually is pulling chest a little bit, You have to be more careful with a bunch of other things. It takes away your room for error. Maybe he just has a ton more vocal capital than most people do, and he can get away with pushing, and he can do that forever. It seems unlikely, but I am hopeful. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. If you have any strong opinions, I would love to hear them. Do you think that Bruno is messing up his voice forever? I didn't say that he is, but do you think that? Thank you for watching.